Hi everybody, welcome to week 3 of our takeaway crafts for summer reading. I'm Carissa. Yes, I do have a face. I'm not just a pair of hands. Today what we're making is a butterfly mobile. And you'll notice it's all rainbowy. Not only do I love rainbows, but it is the end of Pride Month, and I would like to say that everybody here at the Richardson Park Library very much supports the LGBTQ plus community. I can't say it, but I carry you in my heart. So we're gonna make this wonderful butterfly mobile, okay? We'll see you soon. Okay, so we're all set. What you're gonna get in your pack, you're gonna get 4 popsicle sticks. You're gonna get enough sheets of paper in rainbow colors to make 4 butterflies of each color. So we're gonna have 12 pairs. Now, when you get to the end, you may have a couple butterflies left over. That's okay, because you can always take them and hang them in other places and surprise people that, hey, look at this, we have butterflies. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so the first thing, and I am gonna tell you, this is going to be a 2-day craft because you have to wait for stuff to dry. I know it's not the most convenient thing, but you know what, it's gonna be well worth it, because the first day you're gonna do all your cutting out and gluing together. Second day, you're gonna do all the hanging of the butterflies, okay? So to start, what I've done is I've glued 3 of my 4 popsicle sticks together. This is how we're gonna make the frame. And you can glue them however you need. I like doing it so that they kind of overlap a little bit. So there's always one on the bottom. It's always in a spiral, whatever's easiest. You could also just do it straight across and straight across. Whatever makes you happy. Sometimes I get overly fancy, and then people look at me. Now I am going to tell you, working with glue, always have paper towels handy, which I have forgotten to bring with me, so that you can wipe the glue off your fingers. I was a bookbinder for many years, and I can guarantee you, most of the time, we just wiped our hands on paper towels or on our aprons and went on with our lives, because it was easier. Okay, so we're gonna set this guy aside to dry. As you see, it's kind of wanting to fall apart. This is what we're gonna use just regular school glue for. If you use school glue, I'm gonna put a little more glue on here. If you use school glue to do the butterflies, you're definitely gonna have to let them sit overnight and take plenty of time to dry. It's kind of a pain, to tell you the truth. That's why for the butterflies, I recommend using stick paste. Stick paste is fantastic because it's very dry. So unlike the liquid school glue, this is already pretty much dry, so it's only gonna take maybe an hour or 2 on your butterflies. And it's much easier to use because it is a solid. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, everybody gets a template with which, and I labeled them template, with which we're going to trace 2 butterflies per piece of paper. So again, you're gonna cut out a total of 24 butterflies. Oops, doesn't have to be perfect. And again, when you're cutting them out, they're probably not gonna be perfect. We're just gonna do the best we can. We'll get a little Bob Ross here. You know, we're gonna have happy little butterflies, and that's gonna be good enough. And I see there's a little mark here. That's okay. We're gonna take care of that. Now, you could fit this wingtip to wingtip. You would have to have this over too far first. The easiest way is just to flip it. So you've got one right side up and one upside down. Doesn't matter because we're cutting them all out. So we trace around the butterflies. Now, if you came to our crafts on the cheap, we did this a couple years ago with felt, and we had some trouble making the butterflies work. They just kind of wanted to hang there and be weird. We're doing this with paper, one, because again, you can do this with anything you have at home, which is always good. You can print a butterfly template on the computer, and then I just pasted 2 pieces of cardstock together. If you had a piece of cardboard, that would be perfect. To make your own template, and then you can use it again and again and again. Once you get your butterflies traced, I actually like to cut my butterflies apart. See, they were like this, And then here are my butterflies. They're all cut out because it takes a couple minutes to cut them out, and I get bored easily, and I figure you might too. So you cut out your butterflies, throw away your scraps, get all the paper here out of the way. Now, what I'm working with here today, I do not have all the supplies because we're kind of going to do, the tutorial is going to take a substantially less amount of time than when you're actually doing the craft. Okay, now you see these have a little bit of ink. You can see there's a little bit of ink left. I could take the time and go back and painstakingly cut off all the ink. Or I could say, you know what, it's fine. I'm going to put these two butterflies together, ink side to ink side, and then I'm going to fold them down the center. Okay, might take me a moment here to get everything lined up right. I'm going to fold it along the center of the body. So if this were a butterfly, we're kind of giving that thorax area, that abdominal area, that's where the crease is going to go, okay? And since we're going to paste these together, I've got ink side to ink side, one right next to the other. Super easy. Okay, so you're going to do that 12 times. Then you've got your string. Now, in the instructions that come with your kit, I say 18 to 22 inches. I didn't measure, okay? Whenever possible, I don't measure. There are a lot of easier ways to get things very, very close or very, very accurate. In this case, I'm going to take my thread. I'm going to say that's about how long I want my strings to be, okay? If I put it here on my mat, that is about 17 inches. That's okay. That's about where I want it to be. In the instructions, I believe I said 18 to 22. Again, I was estimating. So we can make that just a hair longer. To make everything the same length, I can then do this. I fold it over, I'm still holding it with one finger, and then I've got the loop over here, and then I'm going to fold it again. Oops, this is where the thread is tricky. And see, on this end, I'm going to make it so this bends at the same place. So I can hold these two in my hand, run out the length to where I want it, and then that's going to be right there. And you can do that until you have 12 threads. Now I have most of the butterflies made that I'm going to use, so I really only need one. But what I would do then is I would clip this off. So let's say we're going to make, if my scissors decide they want to cut thread today, they may not, who knows. I need new scissors. Story of everyone's life. We always need new scissors. Okay, so I cut off the loop here, and then I come to this end, and I'm going to cut this loop. And now I have what we're going to call 12 threads that are all just about the same length. They may be a few millimeters off. This is an art, not a science. Don't worry about a few millimeters, okay? So now with whatever thread you have left, and you're going to have substantially less than this because you will have done all the things. You're going to want to take what's left and you're going to cut it in half. So I just put end to end and then fold it in half. And then you're going to have whatever's left. Oh, make a mess for you, because why not? All right, that's about how long that's going to be. And these are going to be the strings that we're going to use to tie our frame so it hangs up. Okay, so they're longer than the 18 to 22 or however long strings you used for your butterflies. They're longer, and then when they hang up our butterfly is going to have a little more room that we can adjust as we need. But we're going to set these guys aside for the moment. Come back to our butterfly, and again, it's ink side to ink side. Take my paste, and I like to assembly line this. I like to do all of them at once. So, put some paste. Take my string. Now, the way that I put my string on is going to determine how my butterfly is going to hang, okay? I kind of like doing at an angle like this, but I like to do a variety so that my butterflies are all flying at different angles. Put a little bit of paste there on that string. And take your inside butterfly, fold it in half. You're going to line your creases up. Fold this guy over. And then you have a butterfly. Now, if you are using school glue, so it's very liquidy, put a piece of wax paper between the wings, okay? That's going to stop them from sticking together because regular school glue is too wet. It's going to saturate the paper and it's going to make them take a lot longer to dry, and they're more likely to be wrinkly. Now, we don't want wrinkly butterflies. We want real ones. So, like magic, I pull out real butterflies. This guy who just got glued, he goes under something heavy. In this case, I'm just putting him under my mat because I'm still working here. But let's say it's the next day and I come back and I have butterflies. Now, you'll see I only have one of every color. You'll have two of every color, okay? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Okay, I've got one of every color. I had a moment there where my brain was unsure. You may notice that some of the string is different colors. That is okay, all right? Everybody is getting a little skein of just a neutral colored embroidery floss. So they don't all match. Some of them are very pale blue, some of them are more of a tan. This is a silver gray, this is white. I just pulled all the neutral colors out and divided them up, and I don't know what you're gonna get. And it doesn't matter because they're neutral and they're just gonna fade into the background. All these guys are here for is to make your butterflies look good. Okay, now, actually, before we start with our butterflies, we have to go back to our frame, which in this case, stuck enough. Okay. It's still a little damp. We're gonna call it okay. So you're gonna take one piece of yarn. It's actually gonna take, this is gonna be 2 pieces of yarn. I shouldn't have cut it the second time. I apologize, that was my own fault. I was not paying attention to what I was doing. Plus, this part I kind of only did once when I did the demo, when I did my own one. So I'm going to tie a knot, just a regular old square knot. Yes, my hands get shaky when I start to do detailed work. They did not do that back in the bookbinding days. Okay. Any extra thread? Clip that stuff off. We don't need extra thread. All it's going to do is sit there and make things harder. Then we're going to take the other end of the same thread, go to the diagonal corner, and tie a knot in this guy too. Very carefully. It's just a square knot. Or a granny knot, however you want to call it. I'm sure there's going to be a mariner out there somewhere saying, that's not the name of that knot. And I say, well, I'm a librarian, not a knot expert. I'm not a knot. Okay, cut extra thread off here. And then we're going to take one more piece, get these guys out of my way. And we're going to do the opposite corners. So I'm going to tuck this guy under here. And really the way I'm doing it, I'm kind of tying one thread per stick. It does not matter if you do it that way. This is how my brain works. It's easier. And in my brain, it holds things together a little better. But I really don't think it would make much of a difference if you did it, you know, as long as you're doing cross corners, you're going to be fine. Okay. And then this guy. Oops. Okay. This is one of those things that just takes a million years. And this is also another good reason to do this over 2 days. So you've got 2 finicky little persnickety pieces, one each day. Because gluing your butterflies can get a little finicky. I swear they have minds of their own. And then all the knot work is going to take some patience. Now the cool thing is, because these threads were roughly the same length, they're going to cross at roughly the same point. Okay, this means that they're going to hang, it's going to want to hang level. Okay, may not look level in the picture, but I promise in real life it is. And you know what, frankly, if it's a little unlevel, it's a super easy fix. See, I'm just going to make my strings go over in the corners and adjust it until it's just so. Now, if you have an extra string or an extra popsicle stick, you can make this bigger, or you could do it as a triangle and make it even smaller and have fewer butterflies, but still just as beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to take these guys and just do a very loose slip knot to get the thread out of my way. Okay, this just keeps this separate, because what we're going to be doing now is you're going to figure out how you want your butterflies to hang on your frame. Okay, now you'll see this is also a good time. You got a paper clip. That paper clip can be bent to make this very easy to hang on whatever you need to hang it on, to make your frame hang even, to make it hang level while you're working. And you have a couple of options. You could go through and cut your threads to whatever lengths you want. Say, okay, I want the blue one to be the longest one, I want the green one to be the shortest one, I want all the other ones to be roughly the same. Cut the strings, use hot glue, and glue them on. That is an option. Getting that close to my hot glue, I know I'm going to get injured, so we're just going to go old school, not tying today. The other thing you could do is you could say, okay, I'm going to lay these guys out. And again, I'm going to decide how I want them to hang. Okay. This is when having a small workspace, it just gives you more of an adventure. Okay. So if I have all my butterflies who are trying to be friendlier than I would care for them to be. Okay. And I say, well, I definitely want the purple one to be the longest. And I want the blue one to be next, so I would lay it, and I want it to be about like that. And remember, you're going to have twice as many as I have. I'm going to have my green guy, I want him to be that much shorter again. And the yellow one, and that one, and then the red one. And I can make whatever adjustments, because if you see this red string, I'm going to turn you a little bit. This red string would be super, super, super short and very, very hard to tie. So I can say, oh, okay, well, we'll bring them a little closer together. See, that makes a huge difference. I could cut everything, excuse me, scissors. I could cut everything here, and then my lengths are all predetermined. And that would be a lot easier, and that's probably what we're going to do. But the other option, because I want to give you the other option, that you see in the pamphlet is all I did was I took all the butterflies and I put them in the order I wanted them. Okay? And I just did a half knot. Just one crossover. Okay? And then I could come back and adjust the length to be however short or long I wanted them to be. So I could come over here and I could be like, oh no, I want you to be much shorter. Okay, there you go. And then I finished the knot. And then I cut off the excess thread. And this way I was able to hang all the butterflies at once and then kind of fiddle around with them till I got them where I wanted them. And that gave me that little bit of freedom. But today, for just ease of everything and to have one less thread lying about, I think we're going to go ahead and just cut them all off. So this way I just know I want to tie them near the end of the thread. You guys are going to miss my sound effects when you're doing these on your own. I just know it. Okay. Get rid of our extra, because there is always extra thread everywhere. Okay. And then I'm going to start tying knots on. Now I like to do, which in my example I didn't do this. I usually like to do them kind of staggered, where the purple one or the red one would be longest, and then the other ones get shorter and shorter as they go toward one end or the other. Okay, but I'm just going to tie this guy. There's one butterfly, and then I'm going to move. So my purple would be on one end, my red would be on the catty corner. If you have another word for catty corner, let me know, because I'm always collecting cool new phrases. Okay, see, that's still pretty short, but that's okay. I think on the example, and I'm going to show it to you again here at the end, my red one is much longer and the purple one is shorter. But I tend to think in rainbow order. So you see I've got my red one, and then very far away I've got the purple one. And I'm ready, so I'm going to put blue, green, yellow, orange. So it's going to be still going to be 2 per stick plus 1 on the end. And then if I had all 12, then I would do blue, green, yellow, orange. Okay, that's how I would do it. So you're going to tie all these guys on, then you're going to trim your threads. This is going to take a little while. No matter how you decide to do it, the knot tying takes a little while because you're dealing with all the little tiny strings. It does help to trim them as you go, because then there's less in your way and it's much easier to keep track. So we would go ahead and we would just hang these guys on here. And then when we're all finished, and keep in mind you have 12 butterflies, but there's really only room for 10. So I have an extra purple and an extra red left over, which is awesome. And then I can use those to just hang around the house. If maybe I have a ceiling fan that has a hanging string, maybe I'll hang one off that. Maybe I'll hang one off the blinds in the kitchen, or hang it in the kitchen window so it hangs down. I can look at it while I'm doing my dishes. But this is the finished product. I'm just going to lay it out here, and then here in a moment I'll set it up and you can see everything. So my butterflies are all different lengths. But I just have the one red and the one purple, which is fine. If you want to have one yellow and one green, you can do it that way too. It's all up to you. You have all the options in the world. Do whatever makes you happy. Okay, give me one moment and I'll show you how it looks hanging up one more time. So when you're all done, and see, I still have my little paper clip here I can use as a hook. I can adjust it to make sure everything sits level. Of course, it's not going to move for me now because, you know, why would it? Sometimes string is against me. So once it's hanging level, all my little butterflies are flying and they look really good. This is a nice thing to put anywhere you can find wind. They're nice and free to float around. And you can see, like this one, the thread goes up more of an angle, but this one I made it fly downward. So his string is at a downward angle instead of an upward, because butterflies flit everywhere they want to go. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Watch this tutorial a couple of times. You will have printed instructions in your booklet, okay? And enjoy crafting. Like I said, give yourself a couple of days to do this one. This one takes a little time. Next week's will be much, much easier. All right? Have a good one.